Good morning, good afternoon to all of you today. I want to continue today on the topic self-leadership, the importance of leading yourself as a leader. I think it is critical that before you can lead others, you should be able to lead yourself. And I suggested that once a month as leaders, we need to make a self-evaluation of our own selves as leaders. How are we leading ourselves? And there are certain questions that are critical in doing that. And today I want to advance three questions again that we need to ask ourselves continuously as leaders as we evaluate how are we leading ourselves as leaders. The first question that you need to ask is related to your gifts. Are you developing your gifts? Are you developing your gifts as a leader? It is critical as a leader to make sure that you at least know your top three gifts. What are your top three gifts as a leader? And once you have identified those gifts, then you need to make sure that you develop your gift. And it's important to ask yourself that question: am I developing my gifts as a leader? Read everything that has to do with your gifts. Hang around as much as possible with people that are more gifted than you in those areas. And that in itself will make you to grow. The second question that you need to ask yourself when you evaluate yourself as a leader is about character. Is your character submitted to Christ? Is my character submitted to Christ? You see, leadership requires moral authority. For us to be able to lead impactfully and change lives and transform lives, our character is critical. You need moral authority as a leader. You see, followers will only follow leaders who exhibit the highest level of integrity. And every time when you compromise your character, you compromise your leadership. So that is critical. Sometimes you think that it's just a flop, I've missed the point, I've missed the mark, but that impacts your leadership. You see, it takes many years to build your character, and therefore, every time when you compromise it, you compromise your leadership. Examples of character issues. I want to point a few examples that has to do with our character. For instance, setting meetings and you don't show up. Not returning phone calls. Sometimes you promise someone that I'll come back to you, but the day goes by, you have never returned calls. That has so much to do with your character. Promising people to come and you don't come. You see, here's the thing. When you promise someone that I'll call you back and you don't call back, that makes a person to think that is devalued. You don't value the person. You see, and when you're supposed to be some with your teammates and you don't show up, no explanation, that erodes trust. Is your character submitted to Christ? The third question that you need to ask yourself as you do self-evaluation of your leadership has to do with pride. Is my pride under control? Is my pride subdued as a leader? 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 5 says, God resists the proud but give grace to the humble. As leaders, we have a choice to make every day. Do we want opposition from God or we want grace and favor from God? You see, here's the thing. When you humble yourself, the Bible says you'll receive grace, you'll receive favor from God. And do you really want to, if you want to know that you have pride as a leader, you need to ask. If you were to ask me, Pastor Peter, how can I check if I've got pride? Then you need to ask. Is that simple answer? Ask. Ask your teammates. Ask the people in your small groups. Ask your elders, the board members. Ask your spouse. Now, here's the thing about spouse. Spouse never lie. Spouse will always tell you the truth to your face. And if you want to know whether you have pride, ask. Ask people around you. Ask your close friends. Ask them. Ask them whether do the words that I speak convey a certain sense of arrogance? How do I come out when I talk? How do I relate to people? How do I treat people? When you ask those critical questions, I tell you the truth, leaders, you'll be able to lead yourself effectively. And when you're able to lead yourself effectively, you will impact so many lives. Thank you for tuning in today, and may God bless you. Thank you. Bye.